Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network, where tonight the stars and cars of the Sim Racers Club are going to take on Martinsville Speedway. That's about what it looks like in the real world as well. Not sure why the graphic on that stretch, but good lord, that's Martinsville. Fairly long straightaways. It looks a little funky, but half mile in length. It's a paperclip. Tight turns, blast down the straightaway, get halfway down, slam on the brakes. We're looking forward to 175 laps of action here. My name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We got Patrick Byrne joining me up in the booth. Andrew Moore, quickest in practice. We've got several storylines that'll come into play tonight. We will talk about those in just a minute once we get through the qualification session.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Did you say slam on the brakes?
Yes.
You're supposed to floor it harder and grab fifth gear, baby.
Yes, go full Ross Chastain into turn number 3. Andrew Moore, by the way, quickest at a 19.340 in practice. Only 13 cars on the entry list, and quite frankly, that could make things interesting if somebody tries to go full Chastain. What was it? The Hail Melon is what they're calling that maneuver.
I believe it's what it's called.
Yeah, you know what? I'll take it. It is going to be interesting for sure. Let's pick up Andrew Moore Jr. as he is out on the racetrack for qualifications. We got the timing tower up here as well, so you can see where your favorite is lining up here this evening. Also on the racetrack will be Johnny Avila. And let's see where we can get. Let's see. Let's pull this one up. There you go. Look at Johnny Avila and Andrew Moore Jr. Moore going to be second quick. Now Kevin Dick moving to the top of the charts at a 19.467. See what he's going to be able to do here on lap number 2 as he's already into turn number 3. Avila going to be second quick at a 19.840. Little bit off the pace at the end of lap number 1. Kevin Dick, lap number 2, does not go faster. He's going to stay at a 19.467. Taking a look at Troy Haight now on the left-hand side of your screen as Johnny Avila has finished up his qualification run. We'll also pick up Will Worsler. Troy Haight going to be, well, he was 5th quick, now 6th at a 20.014. Hunter Waters jumping up to position number 3. Lap number 2 on the board for the 28 of Troy Haight. That one's not a bad lap. Pick up Hunter Waters. Oh, we looped it off at turn number 4. Will Worsler coming across the line. He will finish his qualification run in the 4th position at a 19.511 second lap. I don't think, Hunter Waters finally picking up the 0X. So the fastest pickle in the South is going to be a tick slow. As now we'll pick up Mike McConville. Is that a Guinness livery on Mike McConville's race car? The YJ Media. Oh, it's the YJ logo. Okay. Thought it was the Guinness harp on the hood of the 57 there for a second.
It looks pretty similar.
I like it. It's a tastefully done kind of thing there. Lap number 1 for Mike McConville, going to be in the books 8th quick at a 20.042. Only cars left that have not taken time yet include Richard Fletcher. Pick up the side-by-side here and see where Fletch is going to qualify in here tonight in the number 43. Mike McConville finishing up his run. And let's see. Pick up the onboard side-by-side here with Fletcher as he's off at turn number 2. McConville going to be good for 8th quick at a 20.018 second lap. Lap number 2 for Fletcher. Lap number 1 for Fletcher. Going to be good for 10th quick. 20.364, almost a full second off the pace of pole sitter Kevin Dick. Cross the line for lap number 2, and it will be 19.991. The lap time of record there for Richard Fletcher. So good lap for Fletch, going to put him up into the 8th position. Something that we kind of have to look at here is we only have Tim Knott left to go here in qualifying, Patrick, is when you have a short field like this, especially at a place like Martinsville, you might go into the race planning, saying, hey, in the spring, we had 6 cautions. Martinsville's a place that kind of breeds cautions. Now you're going to potentially have none. I mean, depending on if there is a caution for the stage break, 12 cars can spread out nicely around this racetrack.
Yeah, with only 12 cars, it can create a very fun show because it'll be a Martinsville show that we don't often see. Instead of, your typical bump and run, just shove everyone out of the way and then you're shoving lap traffic out of the way, you're out there turning laps, running it like it's a mile and a half at a half-mile short track.
Yeah, could potentially anyway be one of those scenarios where you're kind of just logging laps and seeing what the night's going to bring you. Get the comment up here from Mike McConville. Coming in already here. I'm beyond sick. I'm going to make as many laps as I can tonight. Feel well, Mike. But yeah, Martinsville is a tough place to run when you're sick. Obviously, maybe not as mentally intense as some of the road courses and all, but you're still talking about, Martinsville's tough, especially if you're trying to get out of the way.
Yeah, there's only one line here. There's only one line for the first laps, and then there's a different line for the white flag lap. But you really can only use that bottom. If you're a lap car wanting to get out of the way, you either got to try running the high side and go real slow and try not to run it up into the wall, or you got to move out of the way on the straightaway. Or don't move out of the way and let the leader move you. Those are your 3 options. There's nowhere to go here. It's so narrow.
Yeah, and we just got the word from race control here. Stages at lap 40 and lap 90 with no yellows tonight. That's going to make things really interesting as well, because now it was funny. I had asked Sam Maxwell, one of the owners of the league, actually the owner of the league, if he had any information on pit strategies. He went, well, we had so many cautions, I don't know that fuel's an issue. Now all of a sudden, I think fuel could possibly be an issue. Can you run 100 laps here at Martinsville on a tank of fuel?
If they're running a full tank, you can run about 125. From my experience with the Gen 6 car, Gen 7 cars right in this current state is same size engine, but I don't know if it's the same size fuel tank.
That's going to be interesting. It is definitely going to be one to watch here tonight as this race goes on. The other big storyline heading into tonight's race, a 3-man battle for the championship, and one of those 3 is not on the grid. Johnny Avila leading the points by 22 over Kevin Dick. Colton Harvey sitting third, only 27 points back. He's 5 back of Kevin Dick for second. This is big. No driver this season has competed in every Sim Racers Club event. They've run 10, and the biggest number I see on the chart says 9 starts. That's really going to be interesting, because how exactly do we... I'm trying to think of the right way that I want to phrase this. If you know you're going to have some drivers that miss races, you really don't want to miss them late. But the points battle is still going to be close. Who knows if Johnny Avila, Kevin Dick, they could miss a race here late. Potentially, you could open things up even for Tyler Seville, who's 42 points back of Colton Harvey for third.
Yeah, it's going to be tight, and this is going to be a real dogfight tonight. This track always promotes great racing. And with how tight everyone is, even with the small field, I can see some bump and runs being made, some people getting forced out of the way and desperate to make some moves.
Yeah, the other one, the teams battle is still pretty tight as well. Will Worsler Racing holding a 29-point advantage over Synergy Esports. We'll see how those develop over the course of the night, but qualifications are going to be just about done here. Still a minute and 15 seconds or so left on the clock. And at least to me anyway, Patrick, it kind of makes you wonder what's going through your head at this point as a driver. You're going to have a 5-minute break before you get out here to start the race. That's gives you a lot of time to think about things. You're not playing with setups or anything like that here in the Sim Racers Club Premier Series. What do you do with that 5 minutes? Is it just a center yourself type moment, or are you the guy who's running off and grabbing a beer or a beverage and hitting the head and taking care of all that stuff?
Usually, if I have extra time, definitely going to at least get up out of the rig, walk around, clear my head, maybe make myself a drink, sometimes alcoholic, sometimes not so, depending on how serious the race is, and sit back, relax, and try and zone myself in.
Yes, if you're running your 4-Drink Fridays event, you know what you're doing with that 5 minutes. But
well, prepping drinks for 4-Drink Fridays, not to plug a different league here, but you have to start the race. You can't drink and drive. That's their whole big thing. No drinking and driving is allowed. You have to stop and drink your drink. So the trick is not to drink before the race, because you're going to get absolutely blasted slamming 4 beers in 40 minutes.
Yes, preparation is key in every league, no matter what type of event you're talking about. The after-work beer league is always fun. Mike McConville saying, I'm going to have Kyle Busch fall race speed tonight. Yes, that car was, well, we'll say not good in the fall.
It had shopping cart tires on it.
Yes, it did. Let's take a look at the starting grid for tonight's race as we get ready to roll off here at Martinsville. Looks like it's only going to be 12. Tim Knott did not get a qualifying lap turned, and he has not on the grid yet either. We're still down to about 60 seconds left for him to jump in, but as it stands right now, there we go, Tim Knott just joining in now. So Kevin Dick, Johnny Avila going to make up row number 1. Will Worsler and Hunter Waters on row 2. Your 2 combatants for the championship lining up on the front row. Tyler Seville and Troy Haight on row number 3. Row 4 will have Thomas Wilhite and Richard Fletcher. Mike McConville, John Moeller on row number 5. Row 6 will be Tony Patton and Andrew Moore Jr. And all alone on row number 7 will be the 41 of Tim Knott. 13 cars for 175 laps here around the Martinsville Speedway. Grab yourself a $2 hot dog. We'll get ready to roll. I'm really looking forward to this one. Sometimes small field races can be really interesting because it brings the strategy elements into play. How do you not cook off the right front? How do you not bake the right rear? Keep everything under control, manage the fuel. There's a lot that goes on inside a driver's head that usually doesn't come into play at a short track.
Yeah, with a small field like this, you're thinking more strategy than you are pure racecraft, which makes it kind of fun. We're going to see a lot more single-file, very easy racing than we've seen in the past at Martinsville. But expect a different show, but don't expect a bad show. This one's still going to be a great one.
Working their way through turns 3 and 4. As always, race fans, the start of the Sim Racers Club at Martinsville is going to be all yours. caution on the speedway. Andrew Moore Jr. going around off of turn number 4. We talked about possibly not seeing many cautions tonight. We're going to get one early here. Let's take a look and see if we can see what happened here to Andrew Moore. Maybe a little bit of a stack up. Oh, he got some help. Punterino out the back end. May have been John Moeller that got a piece of Andrew Moore, and it was. That stack up, Patrick, is really where the mess can sometimes happen here at Martinsville.
There's just nowhere to go. You kind of just get stuck, and the wreck's in front of you, and you're only as good as your brakes are.
Yeah, seeing Mike McConville down on pit lane. Hopefully this is not the end of the night for the 57, but we'll see. Mike checking in the comments saying he is not feeling well whatsoever. Although he's backing up to hit the box, so we'll see. So Mike McConville going to get back out onto pit lane. Or excuse me, back out onto the racetrack. Got to thank everybody that's tuned in on YouTube and on Twitch. And let's take a look here. Got a comment coming in from 90210. Let's get your thoughts on this one here. I don't necessarily agree with the comment here, but so I'm actually glad that JGR is retiring the 18 number for a year or two. Wouldn't want that number to be tainted by some silver spoon fed something or other. What do you think there, Patrick? Ty Gibbs is not the most popular guy in the NASCAR garage by any stretch of the imagination. With that being said, kind of the family number at this point, isn't it?
Ty Gibbs don't suck. I don't like him. He's not a team player, but
yeah, that's
you don't like on track are always fun because it gives you something to cheer at when a car gets wrecked.
That's exactly right. He's replacing Kyle Busch in a very big way. Not sure that I've ever seen a rookie come in with that much hatred towards him, though. Off of turn 4, ready to go. Green flag back in the air. Great jump for Kevin Dick. He is going to be the early leader into turn number 1. Johnny Avila down inside of Will Worsler. The thing about Martinsville, you got to get down to the inside quickly. We see Will Worsler doing that a little bit further back in the pack. Hunter Waters and Tyler Seville side by side.
And I have a feeling these guys are going to work together, get Tyler Seville back on the bottom side because you can get hung out to dry very easily here. That high side is a one-way ticket to last place.
Yeah, especially early on in the race here. We'll take a look at the weather conditions. Track temp's pretty cool as well. Ambient temperature is 77 degrees. Wind's going to be out of the north at 2 miles an hour. Partly cloudy skies and a 79-degree track temperature. Not a ton in the way of variable weather conditions as we see Andrew Moore Jr. already working his way back through the field. How about it? He's up to 6th. Something we're going to see as this race develops, I think, Patrick, is who's kind of trying to save their stuff a little bit, who's maybe going to work from back to front as we see Troy Haight looking inside of Tim Knott. That potential storyline of who's coming and who's going, we're really going to see who beat their stuff up early in the run.
Yeah. Only 2 sets of tires in the box. You got to take care of your stuff. You can't go out there racing balls to the wall the whole night. You got to kind of pick and choose your battles. If someone gets just underneath you, you got to let them have it in the corner and just dive back down low. You can't fight them for it for 10 laps, kind of like Hunter Waters doing here. Just settle back in the line and get them back later.
Take a look. Let's go on board here with Troy Haight. Pull him up on the side-by-side and get you a little bit of a feel for what it's like turning some laps here at Martinsville.
And you can see it's a very repetitive circuit. This track is very easy to find a groove, find your rhythm. You kind of just sit back and do the same thing over and over and over again. The laps are so short where you just develop that rhythm of gas all the way down, lean into the brake, come off of the brake, roll into the gas, floor it, and repeat about every 7 seconds. See Troy Haight looking to the inside now of Tony Patton. Gonna just settle back in, just try and save his stuff, and you can see the brake rotors in that car glowing. One thing I like that's interesting is some cars I see the brake bias is towards the front. I see those front rotors glowing, and then cars like Hunter Waters, his rear wheels are glowing. He's got his brake bias set far back, and that's kind of a strategy here. Is the farther back you can set it, the faster your laps will be. But at the cost of, if you start going too far back, you'll get wheel hop going into the corners, and that'll spin you around real quick. Troy Haight finally being able to get to the inside of Tony Patton, and he's going to run away with that one.
Yeah, that was a nice pass. You get to the inside, make the move big on corner entry, and just kind of force your way into the spot. Really leaves the guy in front of you no choice but to back off a little bit.
Yeah, you can fight for it on the outside, and sometimes end up on the good end of that fight, but at the same time, it's not worth it for the tire wear. You end up using a lot of tires trying to hold it on the high side going fast.
Take a look here. Got another comment coming in from 90210. Did anyone see Cletus tweet to Ross Chastain, offered him a spot in the 2.4 hours of Le Mullets, but also said no wall riding and posted a picture of their new spikes? Yes. We've had the pleasure of working at the Freedom Factory a couple of times this season. Going to be wild, I think.
I want to see Cletus take the Corvette out. What's that Corvette's name? Freedom. Not Leroy, the blue one, the blue T5.
Oh, Richard Fletcher bouncing it off the outside wall there. I'm drawing a blank on that car's name now.
I'm drawing a blank too, but I'd like to see him go and drift that thing and try and knock all those spikes off the wall.
That would be absolutely fantastic, and quite frankly, don't give them any ideas because it's probably something they'll try.
The scariest thing I've ever experienced on a racetrack is trying to set up the camera in turn one, and he pulled that thing out onto the track, started drifting it right against the wall as I'm standing like 4 inches from the wall setting the camera up. Like, there's a car sliding 100 miles an hour, like, right next to me.
Oh, man. 90210 saying, I want to see Cletus in an actually NASCAR race. Get him in the Project 91 car.
That could be fun.
It would be something.
He's not a bad driver. If you've seen any of his stuff with the Stadium Super Trucks, he's keeping up with guys like Robbie Gordon, Mad Max, crazy guys. Yes.
Old Cleater's got a little bit of talent there. Gosh, I don't know. Maybe in a Truck Series race or something to start, but Taking a look here at the battle on the racetrack, Tyler Seville, Andrew Moore Jr. going to be nose to tail. It's Richard Fletcher trying to stay out of the way. That car all the way up against the outside safer barrier, exiting turn 4. Closing in on the end of stage number 1 in the awarding of the all-important championship points. Right now, those are going to belong to Kevin Dick. He has a 1.2 second lead over Will Worsler. Johnny Avila just ahead of this battle, and Troy Hate's right there as well. So it's going to be Avila, Seville, Moore, and Haight. 3, 4, 5, 6. About the best fight we have on the racetrack right now. And this is kind of what I would expect at a place like Martinsville when you have a short field. You know, there's no incentive to really push the car crazy hard at this point.
No, if someone's really banging on your rear bumper wanting to get by, let them by. Let them burn their stuff up, and you'll catch them on the back end of the run.
At a minimum, you're going to catch them on the back end of the run if they don't wad themselves up in the process. Wonder if Tyler Seville maybe isn't holding up Andrew Moore a little bit here, because Troy Haight has closed in as well. The 5-lap averages for Seville, 20.018, 20.012 for Andrew Moore. Troy Haight at a 19.97. They're definitely a tick quicker, and they're actually a little bit quicker than Johnny Avila is as well. Kevin Dick, Will Worsler running first and second. They're still in the 19.8s, 19.9s for their 5-lap averages.
It's just incredible they haven't fallen off more.
Yeah, we saw 3/10 in the opening couple of laps, and now we're back to seeing, we're only seeing about a half second off of what the qualifying laps were. So not a ton of fall off early in the run. Oh, caution is out. Yellow flag on the racetrack. It's going to be trouble for John Moeller. The Black Clover, number 83 Chevrolet Camaro, nose into the outside safer barrier. Let's take a look here, see if we can see what happened on the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. Just a little bit twitchy off the corner. Oh, tried to get back to the gas, and that's all she wrote. Oh, right in front of the race leader as well.
That's what'll happen at Martinsville. You'll come sliding out of one of the corners, and you'll save the car. It'll be fine, but those rear tires are overheated. As soon as you go back to the power, the thing just wants to snap around on you.
First set of pit stops coming here. Andrew Moore Jr. is on pit lane, as is Troy Haight and Tim Knott. Maybe a little bit of a strategy play here early on as the stage comes to a conclusion under the yellow flag. So the crew of Andrew Moore Jr. going to go to work quickly here. We'll pick up race leader Kevin Dick because he's off at turn number 2. And he is your stage 1 winner, picking up 10 big points here this evening. But Johnny Avila is going to be third. So it's not like he only gained 2 points. But it's going to put him to 20 points back as we hit the end here of stage number 1. While we're at it here, let's take a minute and thank some of the sponsors of the Sim Racers Club, including, we'll get them up on the screen here first for you. Got to thank simspeedshop.com for their support. That's going to be a NASCAR style wheel going out the door to the overall season champion. Johnny Avila should have a pretty sizable lead in that one as they run right now. Absolutely dominating the spring championship. Spring and fall champions both picking up a button box. Johnny Avila's already got his hands on one of those. 3 additional button boxes going out for the safe driver draw. So got to say a huge thank you to simspeedshop.com. Check them out online for all of your sim racing needs. Also, got to thank Northland Leisure putting up some cash for the stage winners. Kevin Dick picking that up here this evening at the conclusion of stage number 1. Realty Executives Saskatoon putting up the cash for the fastest lap of the race. Currently, that belongs to Kevin Dick at a 19.534 second lap. Also, Custom Paints and Diecast putting up the money for the hard charger and the biggest loser. Hard charger of the race right now is going to be Tony Patton, up 6 positions to 5th. Biggest loser on the night going to be Troy Haight. He is down 5, currently running in the 11th position. Lights are out on the iRacing safety truck. We are getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Fields through turn 3 and 4. And what the heck, let's give you a shot here. Go ahead and crank it up. Oh, we've got big trouble for Will Worsler. He's up against the outside safer barrier. That car comes to a stop.
Trying the Chastain line, but doing it a hell of a lot more slowly.
Yeah, he's got to come down pit lane. Big trouble for Will Worsler. He had a great car early in the race. Now, not so much. A little bit deeper in the pack here. Andrew Moore Jr. looking inside of Hunter Waters. Let's take a look here and see. Pick up Will Worsler as he is still on pit lane. And just now getting to his box. Early trouble for one of the better cars here this evening. And how about it? The loss for Will Worsler, the gain for Tony Patton. That 86 machine up to 3rd.
One hell of a run on that restart.
Oh man, big trouble for Troy Haight. He almost put it up into the fence exiting turn number 4. He's got to have a little bit of a connection issue there as well as Will Worsler getting back out onto the racetrack, and he is heading right back for pit lane. In fact, looks like Worsler gets onto pit lane and then elects to take the tow. Could be night over for Will Worsler. We'll have to see if we can get an interview with Will here. All right, well, Chris Graham up in the booth here. Tough break for you. Looks like the car's back on pit lane. What happened there on that restart? Oh, well, okay, there we go. We still got him.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I guess I jumped the gun. I got black flag before the start-finish line. I kind of thought that even if I jumped it, that as long as I made sure that the leader crossed the start-finish line before me, that it would be all good, but evidently not. So I had to pit and had a black flag, had to pit, be held for 26 seconds, and evidently I was also speeding exiting pit road, which was another black flag and a 40-second penalty. So I called it.
Yeah, like one of those kind of compounding errors deals, unfortunately. Tough break for you, but hopefully we're going to see you back here again next week.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'll be back. I just, I didn't want to try racing Martinsville being 6-7 laps around town, so.
Yeah, that one's not a ton of fun. All right, well, thank you much. We appreciate you checking in with us.
Yes, sir.
Wow, tough break. Getting the, I'm going to say, oddball iRacing jump the gun penalty. That one happens if iRacing detects you accelerating before the leader inside the start zone. Crazy that the way the system currently works, Patrick, is the leader has absolute freedom at the start.
And what's cool is you can implement the rule perfectly on iRacing since it knows your data, it knows everything. In real world NASCAR, it's a judgment call by the flagman or the guys upstairs who accelerated first.
Yeah, man, that one's tough because it looked like on the restart, Kevin Dick got a great start. Warsler got back off the throttle, so honestly, that's one of those where in the real world, even if he did jump it a little bit, they're probably not going to call it because the leader led at the line and led into turn one. In the iRacing world, that penalty's getting called as soon as you accelerate too soon.
Yeah, and it really kind of plays with your strategy a little bit on the restarts. Usually I try to just jump the leader because when I first hear his car accelerating, it's already too late. So I try to anticipate when he's going to go, and I try to go at the same time or just a touch earlier, and I can lean off it a little bit. But with the new rule, you can't do that. You got to wait till you hear it, which is good yet bad, especially for some people with hearing impairments. Maybe you just don't have surround sound headphones and you can't hear the car next to you.
Andrew Moore Jr. coming around Johnny Avila. He is the fastest car on the racetrack, has the fastest lap of the race at a 19.456. He is going to be getting after Kevin Dick here for the race lead before too long. Already 20 laps in here into stage number 2. Andrew Moore does have significantly fresher tires. He stopped under that caution flag, put one of his fresh sets of Goodyear Racing Eagles on the car. So that's where a lot of that time is going to be coming from. But you have to wonder, Patrick, could that hurt him late in the race? He's only got one more set to put on. He's really got to baby these that are on the car right now.
Not necessarily. They do level off, so I would almost think he's got to get Kevin Dick now and run away with it in that clean air and just try and build himself a gap. Not give a whoop into the field, but at least get out there in clean air and run the lines you want and try and baby those tires out from the lead.
Yeah, kind of you dictate the pace as opposed to the race leader. Seeing a little bit of a move here off of turn number 2. Inside, Andrew Moore. He'll be your new race leader off of turn 4. Coming up on the lap car, John Moeller. He's going to want this move to happen quickly. Moeller clears up to the high side of the racetrack. Kevin Dick able to get in behind Andrew Moore. That really is the big one. A lot of times at these short tracks, the leader has the hard time passing the car. The guy who's in second, he just kind of follows him right through.
Yeah, once you get to that guy out on the high side, for you on the high side, it ends up just being get me down as soon as possible. You're yelling spotter, try and find a gap to shoot back down. It's just like the plate races, but instead of going to the faster line, you're trying to get down to the bottom.
Yeah, get on the bottom of the racetrack and stay there. That's the big key. Going back to the Ross Chastain discussion we were having a little bit ago, some of the NASCAR drivers were guys were having a field day on the trying it in the old NASCAR sims, trying it in iRacing. Within minutes of that, we saw people doing it in iRacing and posting clips up onto their feeds.
Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't gone out there and tried it or even run an after dark race where you're only allowed to wall ride. But it's definitely on the agenda, and it looks like it's a lot of fun to do.
So let's take a look here and run you through the field a little bit as we work lap number 71. Kick things off with Andrew Moore Jr. He has led 7 laps here tonight, taking over from Kevin Dick, who led the first 63. After the pit stop, let's see what lap number that one was. Stopping at lap number 40. One set of tires remains in the box for Andrew Moore Jr., as we've discussed. Kevin Dick, been the class of the field all night long here. As we mentioned, leading 63 laps, started from the pole, very quick in practice. That 52 machine is doing exactly what he needs to do if he wants to try and win himself a championship. The problem is the guy he's trying to catch, Johnny Avila, is right behind him, running in the 3rd position, about 2 seconds back or so of where Kevin Dick runs at this point in the race. Avila starting on the outside of the front row. He also down 1 position from where he started here this evening. Good run thus far for the number 28 of Troy Haight. Up 2 positions from where he started this evening. He's the second of the cars that stopped at lap number 40, not able to make up as much ground as Andrew Moore has on these fresher tires. Talked about him a little bit ago. Tony Patton having a very nice run as well. Ran as high as 3rd at one point about 15 or so laps ago. Let's slide up a little bit here and pick up the battle as Troy Haight looking inside of Johnny Avila for position number 3. Avila going to be able to hold him off.
Outside, hard on the brakes, and then come back down and beat Haight to the mid-quarter. That was pretty good.
Man, that low angle, every time Troy Haight ducks out, it looks like there's an absolutely epic dive bomb coming into turn number 1.
And there it goes. He's going to get him in the mid-quarter, and Johnny Avila is going to keep the momentum on the high side. This is what I was talking about earlier, where you can make it work on the high side. It's just incredibly hard on the tires.
A little bit tougher on the tires, and at this point in the run, you talked about the leveling out. I'd imagine we've probably seen at least a little bit of that here. It's now 38 laps or so for Andrew Moore and Troy Haight on this set of tires. The good's gone off them. Now they're kind of in line with where everybody else is.
Yeah, everyone's pretty much on a level playing field now. It's just a matter of who's the best driver, who's making up the most time. I see Johnny Avila slowly picking away at the gap to Kevin Dick.
Yeah, it's not a ton. Over the 5-lap average, actually 5, 10, and 15-lap averages, Kevin Dick just slightly faster as Troy Haight. Big move down to the inside. He's going to try to clear Avila down into turn 1 this time. Avila does not give him a ton of room. You see Kevin Dick running, I don't know, maybe a tire's width off the bottom of the racetrack, but that's really all you needed to do to keep Johnny Avila from pinching the corner down on you.
Yeah, all you got to do is just stick your nose in there, and you're good.
Let's pick up our through the field here with Tyler Seville running by his lonesome down the back straightaway, trying to get caught up to Tony Patton for the 6th position. Tyler picking up the win 1 week ago, moving him up 3 spots to 4th in the point standings. 3 wins on the season, but the Hurricane taking him out of a couple of races really kind of hurt the championship hopes for the number 11. 6 top 5s, 8 top 10s in 8 starts this season for Tyler Seville. Mike McConville gutting out the effort here in the YJ Esports number 57. Told us in the pre-race he was not feeling well whatsoever, trying to get as many laps as he possibly can in here tonight. And now he's going to have to do it holding off Hunter Waters, the fastest pickle in the South in the Hunter's Fried Pickles number 7 Chevrolet Camaro. Hunter having a decent season, falling a couple of spots in points after last week's race back to the 7th position. 1 pole, 1 win. Not a bad season for Hunter Waters to this point. It's only 3 races left to go after tonight's running. Tim Knott runs in the 9th position, did not qualify. Taking advantage of a couple of cars that have had some issues, has himself up to the 9th position. Running just back behind is Thomas Wilhite. These cars going a second lap down to the race leaders, as you see the 86 of Tony Patton coming by on the outside. Richard Fletcher, he's doing the Fletch thing, hanging out in the 11th position. The custom paints and die-cast Ford Mustang. Fletch had a couple of good runs this season, currently sitting, gotta find him here, sitting 20th in the point standings. Tough race 1 week ago. And last car on the racetrack is the 83 of John Moeller. We've seen John have a couple of issues here as tonight. 12 cars still running on the racetrack. Will Worsler, the only car that is currently being scored out of the race. Tightest battle on the racetrack right now is going to be between Mike McConville and Hunter Waters. Lap number 90 going up on the scoreboard. That means 1 lap to go here in stage number 2. Off of turn number 4, green and white checkered flag goes in the air, and it will be Andrew Moore Jr. picking up the win in stage number 2. He's going to enjoy those bonus points. Only 5 back of Will Worsler entering tonight's race for the 5th position in the point standings. 9 back of Tyler Seville for 4th. So you kind of have the top 3 in their battle. Everybody else running pretty consistently here for 4, 5, 6, 7. The other one to consider is, where does this all shake out in the season-long point standings as well? We'll have that update for you 2 weeks from tonight, as well, quite frankly, we're off next week for the Thanksgiving holiday. Come back with back-to-back races to close out this season. November 30th, we head off to the Homestead Miami Speedway, follow it up in the month of December with Las Vegas and Phoenix. This one was kind of the last wild card of the season, Patrick, and maybe a little bit less wild with only 13 cars on the entry list.
Yeah, even with only 13, though, this race has still been pretty good. It's not your usual Martinsville brawl fest, but you still have your fights, and everyone's kind of picking and choosing their battles, which makes it a lot more thought out than using the chrome horn.
Yeah, it really gives you the opportunity to say, hey, I'm going to sit, I'm going to wait, make my moves. A lot of these drivers have not made their first stop of the race yet. I would imagine we're going to be seeing those in fairly short order. But at this point, it's kind of who knows. And at the rate they're going, they're now past the point where this is a one-stop race.
Which, if we stay green the whole time, it's going to really reward the people who have saved their tires and pitted that last time and don't need to pit again to put fresh rubber on it.
Well, and this is kind of where it makes me wonder. Andrew Moore really opening up the gap on Kevin Dick. He's going to be able to open up the gap. He doesn't have to make the pit stop yet, his final pit stop of the race. Could we see a scenario where, and I'm trying to do the math here, I think, and it could be really close, but could Andrew Moore make it without stopping again? Could you, if we see some of these drivers go 130 laps, Andrew Moore can make it without stopping.
Yeah, and especially since he took tires, he should be pretty good.
Even if he does need to stop, it's really only going to be a bit of a splash and go. Definitely going to be interesting to see how the pit strategy plays out here over the second half of this race.
It's going to be a close one because I said you can only go 125 laps on a tank of fuel. And that's pushing it to, what, 130? 35? So it's going to be tight.
Yeah, it would be 135 for Andrew Moore Jr. Pick up the only battle that is within 1 second at this point. That's going to be Tony Patton and Tyler Seville. Starting to see a little bit of the gap open up here as well between Andrew Moore and Kevin Dick. The gap sitting at about 1/10 of a second over the 5-lap average. Right about 1/10 of a second. So Moore starting to open up the gap up a little bit. You wonder if that's not maybe a little bit of kind of late stint fuel saving by Kevin Dick. I don't necessarily know why you would want to try it, other than you're at this point, are you just hoping for a caution flag?
I would say you're definitely hoping for a caution, but as the rule says, if you hope for a caution, you will be the caution.
Tony Patton doing his best to hold off Tyler Seville. They had a little bit of trouble getting around John Moeller in the 83. That allowed Seville to close right back up, but Patton doing a nice job. Opens the gap up a little bit. You can see it. It's almost like he's backing the corner up a little bit, but getting a better acceleration off because he opens up a little bit of a gap down the straightaway. Tyler Seville driving the car a little bit deeper into the corner, maybe losing a tiny bit on acceleration exiting.
And you can see Tony Patton's taking almost that old Jimmy Johnson line where you diamond the corner. So you enter the corner really shallow, really slowly, turn it hard in the mid-corner, and slam the gas earlier than anyone else. That's what made Jimmy Johnson so good at this track. I mean, I forget how many wins he had here, but it was not an insignificant number.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson, one of the best here at Martinsville. Jeff Gordon, among the best at Martinsville as well. Really a place that requires you to be rhythmic in your driving. And you mentioned that early in the race. It rewards the guys who are able to consistently hit the same mark lap after lap, which really is difficult when you're talking about feeling out the tires and how they're going to change over the course of the run, burning fuel off so the rear end gets a little bit lighter. It's not as easy as just hit the same spot on the racetrack.
No, because that spot's always moving. It's like a moving target, but the target is just moving ever so slightly closer and closer. Like, what I mean by that is, instead of at first braking at that blue emu sign, eventually you're going to be braking at that little red mark on the wall. And every lap you're going to slowly, inch by inch, move it back further and further.
Kind of interesting seeing Tony Patton and Tyler Seville both running a little bit higher off the racing line as well. Well, not necessarily off the racing line, but the line is moving up a little bit. For decades, if you got a little bit off that curb, you were very, very slow.
Not only that, for a long time, that wasn't grass down there. That was still pavement. So if you wanted to really make a ballsy move, you could run over that curb, stick your left side tires over that line, and get under someone. Maybe not so much in the Grand National and the Busch cars, but you saw that a lot in the modifieds because they had such big tires, so much traction, they could make it stick down there.
Man, I'll tell you what, these guys are fighting now. We just saw Tony Patton have a big old moment off of turn number 2. And we're seeing it in the gap at the front of the field as well. Andrew Moore Jr. absolutely checking out. 3.8 seconds the difference to second place running Kevin Dick. Oh, here we go. First car on pit lane, and it's going to be the 11 of Tyler Seville. First one to hit pit lane, doing it at lap number 116 for the race leaders. 115 laps will be the total distance run on that set of tires for Tyler Seville. Wonder if this isn't a little bit of a strategy call here, possibly, Patrick. A little bit of a short pit and see if you can maybe gain some time that way.
Yeah, if you pit now, it's only 50-something laps you're going to have to go to the end. So that's very easy to do on a set of tires. You can absolutely send it. Same thing, Johnny Vila. I'm almost feeling like this is a WWR call. Just pit now. Why wait?
Yeah, or if you're only going to get about 118 laps or so, that tells me Andrew Moore Jr. can't make it to the end. The difference is he's going to have to stop for what amounts to a splash and go, and with a 5-second lead, that could be all the time that he has to make up here.
As well as Andrew Moore's not going to be able to put fresh rubber on the car. If he does, he's going to be a sitting duck there in pit lane.
Well, maybe, maybe not. I think it depends on how big the gap is. And could you possibly only take right side tires on that stop?
You could, but I don't think right sides works as well as it has in the past with this independent rear suspension.
Johnny Avila, the first of the cars, one lap down. Thomas Wilhite heading down onto pit lane. Johnny Avila coming around Mike McConville. I think the big question is, when does Kevin Dick decide to come down pit lane? Is he going to stretch it all the way to the fuel number? Or are we going to possibly see a little bit of that short stop strategy? Because the other problem is, if we get a caution, Johnny Avila, Tyler Seville, they're down a lap. Now they'll be able to take the wave around when all the leaders pit.
They're down 2 laps, actually.
Let's see. Yeah, they're down 2 laps. This is kind of gut check time if we get a caution here.
This is the danger zone right now.
Yes, going full Paul Tracy. Avila trying to come around Andrew Moore Jr., and he's going to get a lap back. So that if there was a yellow, that would put Avila back on the lead lap with either the lucky dog or the wave around. Right now, Mike McConville is the first car 1 lap down. Well, you say that, and Hunter Waters going to get passed by race leader Andrew Moore Jr. And Kevin Dick 7 seconds back. In some respects here as well, the Will Wursler racing cars. Oh, man, we're bottom. Oh, and Johnny Avila spins. We've got more cars wrecking down the front straightaway. Avila goes around, I think. Let's see who the other one was. Tyler Seville was involved in that as well, and he had to take the tow into the pits. Oh, huge drama here at Martinsville.
Well, that is exactly what they did not want to see.
Avila loops it off at turn 4. Oh, man, Tyler Seville making contact with Hunter Waters.
Oh, man. I don't think Hunter Waters meant to turn him. I just think his front bumper was there at the wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, let's take a look here and see what happened. They were kind of 3 wide and bouncing off each other.
Well, for the WWR,
oh, and Mike McConville took a shot there, too. Man, that's not good. 3 Will Wursler racing cars involved in the incident. And
well,
Tyler,
it's going to be a bad night for WWR. Out of all of the cars there, in their chat, I'm only seeing one in the lead lap now. And that would be the number 7 of Hunter Waters. That is uncharacteristic for those guys.
Yeah, Johnny Avila being scored 1 lap down to the race leader. Andrew Moore back out onto the racetrack. And he's going to be right behind Johnny Avila. So Avila will get to take the wave around. But that was huge for Andrew Moore Jr. The early pit stop call paying off here. He's gained 11 spots after starting the night in the 12th position. And let's take a look here, because I think, looks like Johnny Avila just kind of disappeared off the side. Let's take a look. Yeah, he is letting everybody come around. So Johnny Avila going back to being 2 laps down. I would possibly a penalty for the spin that brought out the yellow flag. But man, this absolutely changes the complexion of this race. Andrew Moore Jr., Kevin Dick, Troy Haight, Tony Patton, your top 4. And basically everybody's going to be on fresh tires except for Johnny Avila. Avila only has 10 laps on his.
10 laps and a spin on his. You can't discount that spin. Spinning a car is equal to putting 30 laps on a set of tires. The tires do not like being slid around like that.
Well, at this point, one way or the other, it sort of doesn't matter. I mean, Avila's 2 laps down in the 6th position. Only the front 2 rows doubled up. Everybody else is going to be single file for this restart. Andrew Moore, Kevin Dick on the front row. Troy Haight, Tony Patton on row number 2. Hunter Waters down to the inside. He is being scored 1 lap down. Green flags back in the air. We're underway at Martinsville. Only 4 on the lead lap. It's 1986 here in the Sim Racers Club at Martinsville. Checking in on our cash awards for the night. Kevin Dick picking up the cash from Northland Leisure for winning stage number 1. Andrew Moore Jr. getting the cash for winning stage number 2. Fastest lap of the race belongs to Kevin Dick at a 19.417. Hard charger going to be Andrew Moore Jr. Biggest loser will be Will Worsler as he falls 10 positions and he is out of the race in 13th. Man, this race was a little bit crazy to begin with. Now we're seeing like kind of abject insanity. Oh, and Andrew Moore Jr., the race leader's into the wall.
Oh, no.
Trouble for Andrew Moore Jr. Loops it off of turn 4, almost a carbon copy of what we saw happen to Johnny Avila. And we go back under the caution flag. And now that little bit of a spin and the contact, Andrew Moore going to have to come down pit lane. See the front nose of that machine, especially in the front left corner, a little bit banged up. Probably with, I would think, with some required repairs. But again, this
that
changes
like it's
everything.
A little bit down the pit lane there.
Man alive, things are getting crazy here at Martinsville. Down to 38 laps to go. Working our 4th caution flag of the night, and Hunter Waters is going to get the lucky dog. He'll get to come around and restart in the 4th position. This is what Johnny Avila wants to see. Just give me another yellow, give me another yellow. All of a sudden, Johnny Avila's back on the lead lap. Whole lot more coming up here this week on the National Racing Network. Coming up tomorrow night, it will be the Ezra IndyCar Series taking on the Chicagoland Speedway before they are off for the Thanksgiving holiday. Also going to have Oval Week for the Indy Pro 2000 Championship, Iowa Speedway pack racing in baby open wheel cars. I'm all for it.
I love Iowa in those. I love Iowa in any open wheel car. You give me a NASCAR modified all the way up to an Indy car, it is fantastic at Iowa.
Yeah, Iowa is so much fun to drive. Absolutely love that place.
Rusty Wallace, when he built that track, he saw Richmond, said, this is great. I want to make a better one over here at a cornfield, though. And he did just that.
Yep. Increase the distance to 7/8 of a mile, put a little bit more banking in it, and bank it basically all the way around the racetrack. The front stretch has slightly less banking than the corners. The back stretch is almost flat. But man alive, that place just puts on some fantastic racing. That will be coming up here at 9:15 in the East tomorrow night.
I am upset I never went there. My roommate in college, his grandparents actually had a house on Rusty Wallace Drive, the entrance to the Speedway.
I've been to several races at Iowa Speedway, and the place is an absolute blast. We'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow night as green flag goes back in the air. Johnny Avila trying to force his way to the front. He was absolutely up underneath of Troy Haight. He wants to get himself back on at least to 1 lap down, because then if we get another caution flag, he would be able to take advantage as the lucky dog, get himself back on the lead lap. Currently 4 cars on the lead lap right now. Kevin Dick, Tony Patton, Troy Haight, and Hunter Waters. Now Johnny Avila doing a lot of the road to pro stuff here on iRacing. Oh, caution flag is out. Trouble on the racetrack. 32 laps to go, and we're going to get our 5th caution flag of the night. This time, trouble for John Moeller and Thomas Wilhite. Troy Haight down to the inside of Moeller into 3. Almost a little bit of contact. Moeller spins around all by himself. Oh, Troy Haight making a little bit of contact there. Wilhite just basically coming to a stop to avoid him. But
this is the typical Martinsville story. You get a huge caution-free front at the beginning of the race. You get towards the end, and cautions breed cautions. I wouldn't be surprised if for the rest of the race we just have 2-3 lap runs. I mean, we have half the field we had at the previous Martinsville race. We're already up to the 5th caution. This is Martinsville at its finest.
Yeah, a couple of cars on pit lane here. Hunter Waters pitting out of the 4th position. I like this call. He's going to put his final set of Goodyear Racing Eagles on there. With some heat cycles in them, it sort of makes sense to do it. As Johnny Avila going to take the lucky dog, he is now back to 1 lap down. Especially, I would guess, I mean, I don't know, 18 laps on the set of tires sort of makes sense to come in, I guess.
Well, you don't know if this is the last caution or if we're going to have a bunch more, so take them now. You're only going to put 25 or so laps on the tires.
Yeah, it sort of just makes a lot of sense. Kevin Dick, Tony Patton both have a set of tires left in the box. Troy Haight stopped at lap 40 and lap 87, so I'm going to assume that he has used both of his sets of tires. Hunter Waters putting his final set on. Johnny Avila could be the wild card here. He stopped at lap 117. He's only got 28 laps on this set of tires and potentially could get the lucky dog, take the fresh set of tires here with 10 or 15 to go and really wreak havoc. I was right before the caution. I was mentioning that Johnny Avila is doing the Road to Pro here on the iRacing platform. Obviously, you got to be really good. You got to have the high I rating and all that kind of stuff to kind of go down that path. Does it give him an advantage running a league race like this that's a fixed setup kind of deal where maybe you can't play with the car as much as you do in Road to Pro?
I wouldn't say it gives him an advantage in either. I definitely think this is the advantage here would be it's much more relaxed in the Road to Pro. You can do this just for fun. He's one of the top guys in the series, so he can go out here, know he's got a good shot for the win. And then when he goes to the Road to Pro, that's when it's game on. This is like a professional golfer going out to the course on a Wednesday, just having fun, drinking beer with his buddies.
I like the way you put that. That's language I can understand. Kevin Dick, Tony Patton on the front row, Troy Haight, Hunter Waters on row 2. They're the only 4 cars on the lead lap. Green flag goes back in the air. Wow, another great start for Kevin Dick. Tony Patton trying to hold off Troy Haight, but it's not going to happen. Haight down to the inside through 1 and 2. Hunter Waters going to try to follow him through as well down the backstretch. Door's not open, nothing happening. Haight a little bit wide through 3 and 4. That brings Patton back in. Patton, a little bit of a bizzle there down the front straightaway on Hunter Waters. The bizzle is the preemptive move, by the way. Oh, there's contact! Hunter Waters is up against the outside wall. Troy,
Green, he's still going.
yeah, we're going to stay green, and Troy Haight coming around Tony Patton for the second position. Let's show you that one here quickly on the Hot Shoe Racewear Instant Replay. Haight able to clear Patton as they got off at turn number 2. Now Troy Haight going to try to chase down Kevin Dick. Dick has led 80 laps here so far this evening. And an absolute gut punch for Tyler Seville. That car now being shown as out of the race. It'll be 20 to go. This time by is the time of the race ticks just over 1 hour here to complete 155 laps. 20 circuits remaining around the half-mile Martinsville Speedway. As a reminder, we are off next week. I think with the exception of the Indy Pro 2000 Championship. We'll have to check that one. I know the officials continue to run, but I don't know if they're gonna move the SOF broadcast for the Thanksgiving holiday on Thursday night.
I mean, they can always send in a replay and we can do a broadcast.
Yeah, I don't know how many you would get to run it. That would be more of my thought process.
Well, one neat thing with the USF is while it's mainly dominated by American competitors, there are a lot of people who don't celebrate Thanksgiving from other countries. So you could still see a decent strength of field race, just not with the usual names. And then you'll also see the people who chose not to celebrate with their family and go and race pretend race cars.
Makes a fine distraction after a pile of turkey and stuffing, that's for sure. Following this battle here between Troy Haight and Tony Patton with 15 to go. Patton having a fantastic run tonight as Haight slides up the racetrack. I'll tell you what, Patton down to the inside. He's going to get that pass made with 15 to go. Nice run, Tony Patton. The gap hovering right about 2 1/4, 2 1/3 seconds between Kevin Dick and Tony Patton. Now that gap's starting to open up a little bit here. Oh! Patton slides off at turn 4. Troy Haight able to come back around. Man, that tiny little bit of a slide. Johnny Avila not getting the caution he needs, at least not yet, as we are down to 11 laps to go. It'll be 10 this time for race leader Kevin Dick. He's led 92 laps here this evening after starting on the pole. Can Tony Patton give the business to Troy Haight here one more time? It was a little bit of a bobble by Troy Haight that allowed Patton to come through. Man, again, Troy Haight way up to the high side of the racetrack through turns 1 and 2. That allows Patton to close in a lot of that gap. Gonna do kind of a similar lane through 3 and 4. Oh, another big slide for Tony Patton off of turn 4. And that may be all she wrote. Hunter Waters holding on back there in the 4th position. Johnny Avila trying to get past the 86. I don't think he's going to force the issue too much. Down to 4 laps to go, and Kevin Dick has been absolutely spectacular here tonight. Andrew Moore Jr. took the lead on a bit of strategy. Could have put on a heck of a show with Kevin Dick late in the race until Moore spun coming off at turn number 4.
Just absolutely putting the show in on the field.
Yeah, he's taking them out back behind the woodshed here as we're down to 2 to go. And remember, if they don't get the white flag, Caution will send us to overtime and put Johnny Avila back on the lead lap. About a quarter of a mile left to go here for Kevin Dick to see the white flag. And it will come out this time by 1/2 mile to go. Off of turn number 4, checkered flag is in the air. Kevin Dick picks up the win at Martinsville. Entered the night second in points, 22 back of Johnny Avila, and he made up a bunch here this evening. In 9 starts, he had 4 poles, 5 top 5s, 8 top 10s, but this is his first victory on the season. For the custom paints and diecast, number 52. That car was really, really good tonight here, Patrick.
Hell yeah.
And
He's on fire, always at the front.
And he did the Jimmy Johnson wall tap with the donuts there as well, if you saw that. Jimmy Johnson.
That was intentional or?
Well, Jimmy Johnson's were a lot of the time. He'd get the call from Chad Knaus. Hey, make sure you hit the left rear when you when you're doing the donuts. Let's take a look at the race results. Kevin Dick. Oh, there he goes. He's full Chastain. And he made it stick.
Yeah, the good old Chad Knaus can't tech it if you wreck it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
He's going to go for it again. 3rd time around. Let's go. That's freaking awesome.
That is the new best victory celebration on iRacing. Well done, Kevin Dick. Now let's show you the race results. Kevin Dick by 5.5 seconds over Troy Haight. Tony Patton, Hunter Waters, Johnny Avila make up the top 5. Richard Fletcher, nice run for Fletch there, gaining 5 spots up to 6th. Thomas Wilhite, 7th, Tim Knott, 8th, Andrew Moore Jr., 9th, and John Moeller completes the top 10. Mike McConville, Tyler Seville, and Will Worsler will round out the field here this evening in a race that took 1 hour and 5 minutes to complete. Great show. Nice look there at the custom paints and diecast. Number 52 Chevrolet Camaro of your race winner, Kevin Dick. And let's take a look here and see who we can drag up into the booth with us. We got to find... Also need to find, let's see, there we go. We got Tony Patton available here. So we'll get him ready to go. And who's the last one we got to find here? Troy Haight. I don't see Troy in the room just yet here, so we'll see if we can't find him. But
I will look.
let's get ready to start our victory lane interviews tonight here with our 3rd place finisher, since the leader's still burning the house down here. Let's bring in the number 86 of Tony Patton. Tony, congratulations. A heck of a run here tonight. Talk us through it. It was, the race was calm. They got crazy. You had a great night gaining 8 spots. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I was actually really happy with that race tonight. I didn't get much practice time in first, and just tried to get as many laps after the qualifying, and was able to settle in. I don't know what guys normally run here. I sat in 3rd gear almost the entire race just to keep the car steady. The thing about tonight, everybody was pretty respectful around the track from what I saw. It was a good overall race, and definitely happy with my first podium in this league.
Yeah, congratulations on it, man. It seemed like the car would get to be a handful at various stages in the race. I don't know if that was his tires were wearing down and little bits, but it seemed like everybody was squirrely off of turn 2 and turn 4 at some point.
Yeah, for me, I think it was more when I was feeling like I needed to push a little bit more, when really I just needed to settle. And that's what happened to me near the end when Troy was behind me. I got a little bit nervous and felt like I needed to push, and then just got a little bit loose. I think I got my rear end twice out, but turn 2 wasn't too bad, but it's short track, so
yeah, hold your breath for half a lap. It sounds like doesn't sound like a ton of fun to me. But congratulations on your first podium here in the Sim Racers Club Premier Series. Enjoy on the week off here, and before we let you go, get any sponsor plugs or thank yous in that you might have.
No sponsors, but big thank you to Richard Smith, my partner, who wasn't able to race tonight. Unfortunately, a blown video card, but he's been a big help in. We just say I turn the wheel here, so he's been a big help with me and making me learn these short tracks. But thank you guys as well too.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you hanging out with us here for a minute. And, man, that one was fun. Another guy we're looking forward to talking to here is Troy Haight. Another good run here, Troy, picking up your 4th top 5 finish of the season. Congratulations. Tell us how the night went for you guys.
Yeah, thanks. I didn't really have the speed in practice, but I just made some adjustments and try to stay out of trouble and was there at the end.
Seemed like that was kind of a big thing tonight here with the cars getting loose, especially off of turn 4. Being in contention and clean at the end of the race was really important.
Yeah, good racing with Tony there at the end. Then he got loose off the one corner and gave it back to me. But good racing with him, and congrats to Kevin on the win.
All right, bud. Well, congratulations on the 2nd place finish here. And before we let you go, make sure you get all the big sponsor plugs and thank yous taken care of.
Yeah, just want to thank my dad. He watches me every week. Friends and family, you guys in the booth, and Sam Maxwell and 2 Jordans for running the league.
All right, bud. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you checking in with us here. And let's talk to a guy who's probably going to be pretty darn excited here. He did an absolutely epic Rush Chastain impersonation at the end. Oh, my goodness. Kevin Dick, congratulations on a huge win, not only in terms of a great run tonight, but this is big for your championship hopes.
Yeah, it is. I mean, got a lot of momentum going now. We've had 2 pretty solid weeks in a row, so hopefully that just keeps rolling. I know we got an off week next week, but we'll just I don't know, keep rolling with the momentum and hope we can finish the season out strong.
It seemed like you and Andrew were really setting up for a great battle down the stretch. The Gremlins bit him off of turn number 4. What were you doing a little bit different to keep the car from getting squirrely? Because you looked really good off of 4 all night long.
Just being that little bit more patient. 4 was the tricky part for me. I had no problems coming off a 2 at all. But I found like if you just got to it a little bit early off of 4, it would upset the car just a little bit. And I figured out, just be a little bit patient with it, and it'll pay off.
Well, now we're looking ahead a little bit here. You gained 10 points on Johnny with the stage points, or I guess it gained 2 technically on Johnny with the stage points. That put you to 20 back. Him finishing in 5th tonight, that's going to tighten the gap up as well. You've got to be pretty jazzed up here as we head into the off week, and then 3 kind of not cookie cutter, but bread and butter type tracks for this car coming up.
Yeah, I'm just going to look at the schedule here. We got Homestead, Vegas, and Phoenix. I mean, those are 3 real good tracks. I don't know, just try and keep it clean and just be there at the end. As long as I keep doing what I've been doing these last 2 weeks, I think it'll be pretty close, and hopefully it's pretty exciting for you guys to call.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it in a big way. And congratulations on the win here tonight. And before we let you go, get all the sponsor plugs and thank yous taken care of.
Give a shout out to Custom Paints and Diecast. Jordan, he's a great guy. He helps run this league, and Great league to be a part of. I mean, it's real good racing. Not quite the car count I was hoping for tonight, but hopefully we'll pick it up next race. And give a shout out to you guys up in the booth.
All right, bud. Well, thank you much. We appreciate that, and you checking in with us here. And man, I'll tell you what, Patrick, a race that was, I'll say, a little slow to start was certainly not at the finish. That was abject insanity late in this one.
Oh, yeah. You had all of your top contenders taken out for the most part. Will Worsler Racing, I don't want to say a wake-up call, but that's kind of the first thing that comes to my mind is, hey, get your stuff together. Tonight was not a good night. You got 3 rounds left, and you got to show everyone how it's done. They've been the top guys. They've been the top dogs. And tonight, unfortunately, they just weren't. So hopefully we can see him come back next week and put a showing on the field, or maybe Kevin Dick will get the championship. Who knows?
Well, that's where I think that's you kind of described it as a wake-up call, and I think that's pretty accurate because Will Worsler had his troubles with a jump start, compounded that mistake with a pit road speeding penalty. You get late in the race, one driver having a little bit of an issue turned into the rest of the team having big problems. Those are the types of mistakes that if you start to compound mistakes on each other, that can really become an issue. I would imagine that team is probably looking forward to the off week and just staying out of the car, come back in 2 weeks and really get after it.
Yeah, I mean, their whole slogan is win as a team, but unfortunately, what comes with win as a team is lose as a team. So that's kind of one of the downsides to running a bigger team like that. So hopefully they can get it back together and come back and give us a strong showing. But there's some other little guys that are coming out there like Kevin Dick, and I don't even want to call him a little guy. He's been up front all season. But some guys from smaller teams like that have really been showing us how it's done.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see how these final 3 races play out. As a reminder, again, we are off next week for the Thanksgiving holiday, coming back 2 weeks from tonight at the Homestead Miami Speedway. That place is big, bad, fast for these NASCAR NextGen cars. Coming up tomorrow night, it will be the Ezra IndyCar Series at 8 p.m. in the East. Reminder to set your clocks on that one a half hour earlier. Because of the time change, the Ezra IndyCar Series slots back a half hour because the Indy Pro 2000 Championship actually slid back a full hour. Ezra coming up at 8 o'clock, followed by the Indy Pro 2000 Championship at 9:15. But with that, time for us to get the heck on out of here. This one was fun tonight. Whole lot more coming up tomorrow as well. For Patrick Byrne and everybody here at the National Racing Network that makes these shows happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will talk to you all soon. Have a good night, everybody.